Welcome back, gang. It's Deltia from Deltia's Gaming, and in this video we're covering alchemy. Yes, how to make potions and now poisons here in the update Dark Brotherhood coming at the end of this month for PC. So if you want to know what there is to do, how to make them, collect the materials, and even power level alchemy, this is the video for you. Let's get started. Alchemy is probably the easiest of the crafting to understand, but one of the most complex when you start mixing in ingredients and trying to add poisons to the mix and determining what's effective for potions and poisons. So in its simplest form, you only need a couple things. Well, a few. You need a crafting station, so it looks like this. You can see this on your map by hovering over the icon and the little flower alchemist station. So that's where you're going to go make your little potions or poisons. You're also going to need what's called reagents. Simply put, it's flowers or something like that. Now I have a list of all the reagents I'm going to show you and talk about, but just realize there were 18 prior to the Dark Brotherhood, and the Dark Brotherhood has added 8. I have them all discovered all on my website if you want to see what the effects are. So just realize the pre-Dark Brotherhood ones were mainly only used for potions. Now they can be used for poisons as well, giving it a whole new level of complexity, such as stealing ultimate, stealing health, adding health. I mean, so many different things. And now to throw in buffs in it, potions and poison alchemy is even more important to learn and know. Okay, then you also need what's called solvents or waters. And waters, reagents can be found anywhere in the world. So if you find a blessed thistle, you could find it at the very starter island at level 3, and you could also find an orsinium later on in the game at VR 16. There is no level associated with the reagents. What makes higher level potions is the water or solvents. So you find these at or around the levels in which the mobs are at. So a natural water makes level 3. Well, where would you find that? At the very beginning of the game in the starter island, working your way up to Lorcan's tier, or the top level alchemy thing. So you see here, we're on the PTS, make a 150 potion. What does that mean? Well, just take off the 0. So it's VR 15 what it is on live server. So what it's going to be now is 150 champion points is what you need to have in order to use this. So if you're level 50 right now, or VR 1, and you'll hit cap once Dark Brotherhood launches, and as long as you have 150 champion points, you can use this. Same thing as we work our way back. So what's a 10 CP potion? All it means is it's previously VR 15. So I hope that you understand that. It's not that complex. Just cut off a 0 and you're fine. So the basic ingredient is reagents plus solvents plus little crafting table equals a potion or poisons. So if you look here, I just have waters here, right? But if I go to poison solvents, now we have a whole new list, a new category. And this is poisons. So similar to solvents, you can find poisons, the water is used to make them just around anywhere. And typically there's a body of water. So let me show you what this looks like. Okay, so the easiest way to find these waters is just to come to water. Now there's a couple different things you need to look for. One, this is a fishing hole. So you can tell the difference here because it has splashing little fish. So when you come over here, this will be water. It's glowing. Now that's due to the skill line Keen Eye, which I'm going to show you in a little bit. But you see that? Collect water. So let's see what we get. This is a Lorcan's tier. Why are we getting a Lorcan's tier here? Well, we are in the Dark Brotherhood zone right near Anvil, so it's the main area. So if you look at your map, it depends on which faction you start. So if you have a starter in Oradon, Stone Falls, or Glenumbra, those are going to be lesser waters until you work your way up to places like Rothgar, Hughes Bane, and the Gold Coast. So that's just what it looks like. Now let's talk about the skill line, because that's really what's going to determine the potions. The alchemy skill line is really basic here. So we have one thing in here for solvents or waters, and all this does is allow you to use more complex waters. Now, why would you want to make higher level waters or more complex? It adds to the effect. So if you would make a level 3 potion comparison to a VR 15 or a champion point 150, it'll be a lot different in terms of the resources it gives back to you, how long it lasts, etc. So That's the reason you want to use the max level water that you can. Just note that when you're leveling up, if you want to use potions at around your level, you need to use the same amount of waters. Pretty simple, right? Let's go ahead and max that up. That's going to let us use the latest endgame Lorcan's Tears. Keen Eye, this is what allows you to see the little white symbols on the regents and or waters. It's really useful if you have extra skill points and or you have a specific person that gathers mats. Now, I don't highly recommend investing this when you're new to the game or early on, because you need points for your armor, your weapons, your class-specific skill lines, PvP. So I don't recommend using that. Now medicinal use, which is the most important of the passives in my opinion, and it's the only one that gives you a performance increase out of all the crafting. Yes. How do potions give you a performance increase? So I don't have any points into this right now, and if we look at our potions, and we're going to go down to what's called a tripod, which I'm going to show you how to make those later. Essence of Health. So we look at this, it restores, X amount of health, magic, and stamina all at once. And these can be used every 45 seconds. But what people don't understand is they come with a passive. So health regeneration, magic regeneration, and stamina recovery. So those are side effects that last. And remember, it's a 45-second cooldown. So if we look at the medicinal use passive, we take 3 points into it, lasts 30% longer. Why is that important? Well, now if we look at that exact same potion, look how long it lasts. 52.8, and the secondary effects are 47.6. Well, the 45-second cooldown, essentially if you're using these on cooldown, or every 45 seconds, your character now can benefit from that major recovery in all 3 resources. Now, different potions do different things, but that's why medicinal use is so advantageous. And it becomes really so if you're going to use movability pots, vanish, speed potions, and so on. So you got to get the medicinal use passive. And to get all 3 points of medicinal use, you have to level this to 50. Next up is chemistry. Produce 1 extra potion during a crafting attempt. So if you level this thing up, now essentially you're making 4 items at once instead of 1. When I'm just leveling this up to get the medicinal use, I don't have this chemistry. However, at endgame, when I have one specific crafter that does my potions, you best believe I'm taking this. Next up is really important, laboratory use. Allows the use of up to 3 reagents while mixing potions. So instead of the normal 2 plus a water, now you get a 3rd. Why is that useful? Well, now you can get more and more complex potions and or poisons. So it takes a while to get to this, but you really, really want to unlock it. So you got to get that right away or as soon as you can. Next up is Snake's Blood. So reduces duration of negative effects and potions by 50% when consumed. I'm a little disappointed this wasn't changed to poisons and or not consumed but against you, but you have to deal with what you get. But I could see this later on becoming something where it is reflective of poisons. Not right now, not on the PTS, but just consider this might be something else that benefits you in alchemy and the future patches. Just like previous Elder Scrolls games, the regents don't come known to you, all their effects. Some negative, some positive. So you have to find that out. And in this game, you don't just eat them to figure it out. You mix them together. Luckily, I have a little formula or a chart here that allows you to unlock all of the 18 pre-Dark Brotherhood ingredients and their effects pretty simply. Let me show you that. Here's the really quick ingredient unlock or combinations. All you do is mix these 2 together in the sequential order. So you need to go top to bottom, left to right. Blessed Thistle and Dragonthorn, Blessed Thistle and Steencorn, and so on. So you're going to save a lot of ingredients instead of just screwing around trying on your own, which is kind of fun to do for the first time. But this is a much more efficient way. You're going to unlock achievements, and then you're also going to get inspiration or crafting experience to level the skill line. So make sure you do this to start. Here's a list of all the previous Dark Brotherhood regents and their effects. Just note when you're making potions and mixing them together, you need to actually have the correct ingredients because not everything is going to make a potion. So the basic simplest way to do this is have likes and likes. So plus restore health and another one that gives plus restore health. There's plenty of cool combinations that you can make to do really cool effects, which I'm going to show you right after this. But this is all of them unlocked. Here's a list of the most common potions that I use. You'll see in 3 different categories: general, stamina, and magic users. In the general, we have the very first one as a tripod. So it gives you all 3 resources back, which is fantastic, PvE or PvP. Below it is my favorite PvP potion, which is immune to knockback. Yes, you take this for 15 seconds, almost 16, you cannot be stunned. Super helpful when you go into a Zerg v Zerg fight, if you Zerg. Grants major expedition also, so you get that speed bonus and stamina, though they're very expensive to make. Middle, you have the stamina, which is speed, and mainly your major brutality, major savagery, so you can keep these on cooldown to not slot specific abilities if you want more space on your bar. The very same thing for magic to the right. Stealth detection, which is really cool and comes with major sorcery or spell damage if you don't want to run entropy. Okay, now that I've shown you some of the cool potions that you can make, let's look at some of the poisons that you can make. Now, there is a ton of combinations, so I haven't obviously gone through them all. But man, there are some cool buffs and debuffs you can get. Minor Breach, that spell resistance takes it down, and a lot of these you can apply to a tank in a trial or a lot of PvP combinations. So something like this, inflicts minor maim. So you're going to strip your target's weapon damage and increases your weapon power for a time. It's only 10 seconds, so you're going to need a light attack and or heavy attack constantly and maintain this buff. Invigoration grants minor savagery, reducing their critical damage and increasing your weapon critical. The list goes on and on. This is by far my favorite one. Applies minor cowardice to your target, increasing the cost of ultimates by 30% for 10 seconds. Wow, that might change the game in PvP. Whether you can cleanse it or not, you're still going to have to deal with all these poisons. There's also similar like tri potions that you can use for stamina, magic, and or overall users like this. So, inflicts your victim to cost 30% more for stamina abilities. Minor Fracture reduces their armor, increases yours. Minor Defile reduces their healing taking, increasing yours. There is a ton, over 1,000 combinations of potions and poisons now, so it's going to take a minute to get that in a separate guide. But either way, now is a really good time to level your alchemy because it's always going to be in demand, especially with poisons hitting the market. So buy up the mats, watch my power leveling video, and we'll see you around.